This was not the video that I was expecting or wanting to make today, but I think it's a conversation that we need to have and something that needs to be addressed, and let's go. Firstly, to my community, because I love and respect you, good morning, lovelies. I'm going to try and just power through this. This is going to be a long video, and this is going to be one where I'm going to go through all of the components and facets that I can think of, provide and give context for as much as I can. I think if you're a regular here, you know that I love and appreciate context. I refuse to make just sweeping judgments and assumptions. I want to know how and why something happened and why it could have been prevented versus just here is thing, react to thing. The main thesis of this video being, why does Niantic keep doing this? This being a fairly broad and sweeping word to encompass huge changes that affect the community in a pretty massive way and communicating it in exceptionally poorly. Communicating it in a way that damages relationship with the community, that damages relationship with creators, that just leaves a sour taste in general, even if the update could be something positive, negative. The way that it is delivered just doesn't land correctly, potentially. Or it's just bad in general. I want to go into and kind of discuss with you guys and, share your thoughts, your feelings with Niantic. Why does the community not feel heard? To dig into that and show tangibly why it is that this relationship is damaged and not functioning as intended. Additionally, why these things impact the trust between the community and Niantic. To be very clear as well, for anyone that is new or maybe doesn't know, I'm not hashtag sponsored by Niantic. I have been for specific events, sponsored at that time for that event. Additionally, in the last 12 months, I have been paid once by Niantic for one video. It was an AR video during GoFest this year. That is it. In no way does Niantic pay for my opinion, endorse or sponsor my opinion one way or the other. They don't try to ask me to talk on particular topics. I have a certain view because that's not authentic, that's not genuine. And even if they wanted that, I would reject that because that's would be a really crappy deal. So you, the viewer who watch my ads, subscribe to the channel, buy the merch, support on Patreon for $1, whatever it is, all those little bits and pieces, those are the things that pay my wage and you could argue pay for my opinion. I'm a pretty stubborn individual. I don't let people push me around and, control my opinion of things. So these thoughts are my own, in addition to then showing your thoughts here to present. And lastly, before we jump into, you might be like, what the hell is going on? What is this video even about? We're getting there. Lastly, before we jump in as well, this feedback is really targeted at the executive level of Niantic and at the Pokemon Company and the Pokemon Company International. This is not directed at the regular staff working at Niantic. I know and I can appreciate that you, the staff there, have no control over what your bosses say, over what executives say, what board of directors, what other company has to say. You just have to do the work and then you cop the feedback from the community because you're in the roles that collect that feedback and collect that data, and you hear all of the most negative, whatever it might be, thing every single day. I know that you're not in control of the high level decisions that get made for the company. This feedback is for the executive level and why you need to really assess what the hell you are doing, because it is damaging your brand, it is damaging the perception of your brand, and it's damaging the relationship with your consumer base, your customers, your community, whatever you'd like to call it. And additionally, the way in which you communicate currently with the community is unacceptable. It's just flat out unacceptable. It's not appropriate, it's not quality, it's not acceptable. The thing that prompted this video is the most recent announcement of update of certain features being rolled back in Pokemon GO. These features directly impact how trainers and the community plays at home during quarantine, during lockdown, during a time of, hey, let's not spread a really highly infectious and killer disease, virus, to other people. As we've all been aware, there have been some really fantastic changes made to the game to allow us to play from home, especially for those who need it, allowing us to safely continue to enjoy a game that we all love, and to do so safely and responsibly. from the comfort of our homes. We all know that these features were intended to be temporary, and it's understandable that at some point these things would roll back, assumably roll back over time and at a gradual pace. However, there has been a pretty reasonable and large backlash from this update. So I'm going to read firstly, I'm just going to read all the facts, just the facts, ma'am, and then we'll get into dissecting it after. So here is what was posted. Over the past few months, we've been making temporary changes to Pokémon GO to adapt to the changing global environment. Some of these changes will remain implemented for the foreseeable future, such as the ability to raid remotely, changes to the Go Battle League, and the increased distance at which you can spin photo discs at gyms and Pokestops. We thank you all for your feedback. The following temporary bonuses will remain to improve Pokemon GO's overall gameplay experience. The maximum number of gifts you can carry in your bag at any time will remain at 20. You'll continue to receive 3 times the Stardust and XP for your first Pokemon catch of the day. Incense duration will remain at 60 minutes. When possible, people are generally encouraged to spend time outside, go on walks and exercise for their mental and physical health, all while social distancing and abiding by other health and safety recommendations. Starting Thursday, October 1st, 2020 at 1 PM PDT, the following temporary bonuses will be modified. Hatch distance will return to normal for eggs. The increased effectiveness of Incense will now only apply while walking. Your buddy Pokemon will now bring you gifts only when you have nearly run out. This will happen only once per day. You will still have a higher chance of getting a gift when you spin a Pokestop, however you won't be guaranteed to get a gift. Incubators will be included in more boxes in the in-game shop. They go on to say, hey, we're monitoring the situation. You can always check the Today view for what's happening in the game and if things are getting changed and things like that. I'm sure as you're listening to that, you are formulating your own thoughts, feelings, and opinions if you haven't heard this news yet. But I'm going to go through and dissect each and every one of those points, and then we're going to kind of summarize sort of thing. So the maximum number of gifts you can carry in your bag will stay at 20. Awesome. That should, as it says here, it's going to be a thing. That should just be a thing. The 10 gifts was ridiculous. 20, sure, whatever, cool, happy days. You'll continue to receive 3 times Stardust and XP for your first Pokemon catch of the day. I didn't even realize that was a thing. I thought that was you always got a bonus for your first catch of the day, but sure, apparently it was more than before, I guess. The duration of Incense will remain at 60 minutes. Good. Here's the things that are sort of changing. So the hatch distance will return to normal for eggs. Now, had this been the only change, I think this would be fine. I think it's pretty poor timing considering it's happening the day before a featured egg Pokemon event is sort of happening. Fashion Week will be starting on the 2nd, and one of the main feature Pokemon is the Smoochum with the Bow that is only obtainable through eggs. Bit of a poor taste kind of look, PR-wise, to say, hey, sucked in, we've announced this egg thing, get excited for the eggs, get excited for this, have a, blah, 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 but we're going to take away the egg distance. I think this would have been far better suited for the egg distance returning to normal the day after Fashion Week event ends. There would be enough downtime then in between the Fashion Week event, between that event and potential Halloween eggs, that people are like, okay, that was it's going back to normal now. We've had that last little run there to maybe get myself a little Smoochum out of that, with the bow. That event, sure, that's fine. There's that downtime between events for it to be reacclimated and to be normal. Again, I think the hatch distance returning to normal is the least egregious part of this. However, it is incredibly poor taste to have it the day before a featured egg event launches in the game. The next point, I think this is the major one for most people. The increased effectiveness of Incense will now only apply while walking. Now, as I mentioned before, I am a massive fan of context. So does this mean, there's 70 questions in here. This is a loaded statement. Does this mean that staying at home and not moving will revert Incense to the previous time that it used to be, where it's 1 spawn every 3 to 5 minutes? Or will it be just not as good as what it has been? It won't be every minute that there's a spawn, or will it be somewhere in between? What will it be if you are not moving? This is incredibly unclear, and I think this is causing a lot of the issue, because it could quite literally be that playing with Incense at home is still very good, just not as good as walking. However, the way that it is worded here implies, hey, sucked in again, this is going back to the original way that Incense worked, which was not amazing if you weren't walking. And this will directly impact people who are still in quarantine, still locked down, still cannot legally leave their house for activities. Now, if it is true that Incense won't suck playing at home, the way that I would have worded this is something to the effect of using an Incense while not walking will result in a slight decrease in spawns. Using an Incense while walking will result in a slight increase in spawns. This way, the incentive to go outside is on the individual. If you, the individual, are safe and in a position to do so, you get a bonus for going outside and walking and being active. Oh, my Incense does a little bit more when I go on a walk. But if you're someone who physically cannot safely leave the house, oh, that's okay. I can't go for a walk, but my Incense still works nicely at home. It's not as good as walking, but it's not as bad as it originally was before any sort of increase to the Incense. Now, it could be entirely wrong, and the play from home could absolutely suck. It could go back to pitiful spawns. This is one of the things where you have to wait and see for the context, because Niantic has done the fantastic job of not giving us the context. And this is not just Niantic. This is Niantic and the Pokemon Company International. You are responsible. The Pokemon Company International is responsible, I would assume, for approving all of the copy that goes out to us, the community, to see, to read. Why would you elect to give us less information when it is not going to hurt the perception of you and your brand? By giving less information, you are hurting you and your brand. I just don't understand why. I think this Incense portion has gotten people quite worked up about it as well, because we are in the middle of a global pandemic. I can be so lucky to be where I am in Newcastle, Australia, that we've got 0 cases. We've had 0 cases for so long. I can go outside and play. I can go outside with a handful of friends and play safely. However, that doesn't mean that I want to go and do a comm day with a group somewhere. It doesn't mean that people in Melbourne, in Australia, they can't even leave their houses for activities and sports and things like that. It is go to work, if you go to work, or go to groceries and go to medical, and that is it. It is not an option to go out for a stroll. It is not an option to not play from home without risking yourself, your health, others in the community, a fine, whatever it might be, being just an irresponsible human on this planet. For a Pokemon? I don't think that's what people want. Additionally, other countries are having insane second wave spikes, huge spikes in cases. Other countries are on the verge of going back into, stage 4 lockdowns and things like that. This just isn't going to be feasible for a lot of people. And in my mind, it can't even be, claiming ignorance to the situation, because it's not like the USA is doing amazing and cases are super low and they're like, oh, everything's fine here, let's just roll out these features. It's not great there either. So this is why I'm confused as to, this decision wasn't made ignorantly with only knowing your own country's situation. This was a decision made by a massive company, or the company that had the Pokemon is the biggest IP in the world. Name a brand that is more universally known than Pokemon. What's going on. Why would you make this change? And leading back to my previous point, I think the incentive should be on the individual to choose to go outside and walk. Of course, going outside to walk is healthy. Of course, doing physical activity is wonderful and healthy, and it's how the game was intended to be. That is not reasonable or feasible at the moment. Again, as I said before, if it was something where it's like playing from home, slightly less spawns, playing while walking, slightly more spawns. The decision is then placed on the individual, because the implication of slightly is that you can still have a good time at home. You can still get your catches in, you can still have fun playing the game, but you are responsible for that choice. And then the other individuals who have that safe choice to make, to go outside and to get their slightly increased spawns, can do so safely. I think it is incredibly risky, and additionally hurts the brand of Niantic and the Pokemon Company for them to be taking on the position of encouraging people to go outside, encouraging people to potentially break the rules. You can say as many times as you like to listen to your local regulations, listen to your local rules, but if you are incentivizing, you cannot play from home, you must walk to have benefit. that is you taking on that burden of responsibility. You are encouraging people, even if it's indirectly. That is saying, you can't have thing is outside. Go get thing outside. If you want thing, it's outside. I'm not saying that you should go get it, but it's only outside. So like, you used to have it inside, but like you can, it's outside now. I'm not saying go get it, but like it's over there if you want it. I think that's like just so dumb. Like it's just so, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. I'm like, just even as a PR move, this just seems so dumb. Like, I'm at a loss for words. Like, even if it was like, oh, we're going to make so much more money if we do this, then where's the person who's going like, oh, it's going to be a bit of a yikes look on the brand and on the company if we do this. Yeah, you're right. Let's just wait. Or I don't even think that it would increase the spend in-game, because there's no like, people are spending so much playing from home with Incense and remote raids and things anyway, that it's like, why is if the desire is to get back to that core gameplay of outside and being healthy, like this is not the way to do it. Like this is a yikes and a half. Why put yourself and your company in this position? Why put your staff in the position where they have to get dumped on every single day? Every time there is a screw up or a poorly rolled out event or update or bugs or glitches or lag or whatever it is, the staff get dragged for it. The creators get dragged for it. I don't work for you guys and I get dumped on daily because of choices from the bosses coming down. Like you are paying professionals to make and develop your game. And I assume that they tell you this will not be received well. This will not be taken well by the community. Maybe we should do this instead. Why are you wasting your money paying for professional opinions if you're not listening to those professionals in your company? I refuse to believe that not a single person in the staff at Niantic said, hi, this sounds like a bad idea, let's not do this. But you, the executive level, decided to do it anyway, and you are making your staff suffer every single day, because they have to get online and read the comments, read the feedback, read the staff and the support emails and the tweets and the screw you for being like so greedy every single day. I find that incredibly disrespectful to not only the community that plays this game, but to your staff, to the people that are supposed to be your family of humans. You're building this beautiful thing and this enjoyment and this experience together. That just is absolute disrespect in my mind. And that's what gets me really angry. Because I know the humans that work there on that regular human level, they love and care about this game so much. They love and care about the community so much. I can only imagine the frustration they go through to have to constantly put out like, oh, here goes this announcement. Can't wait to just, I can't wait to roll in the feedback on this one, even though I've probably said that this is going to be a bad idea. Oh, what's that? Everyone hates it. Thought so. Like, I can't even imagine that level of frustration. Like, I'm getting worked up about this. I'm like going into fight or flight. Holy dooly. My ultimate point being, not communicating clearly, not communicating with detailed information. And it doesn't even have to be crazy high-level detail. Just answer the question. Make a sentence that we can draw a clear conclusion from, not speculate from. By not communicating clearly, you are damaging your trust with the community every single time. You are damaging the trust between creators and our communities every single time, because there's no back and forth between your company and the community. There's no dialogue back and forth. The creators, we have a dialogue back and forth with Niantic, and the creators have a dialogue back and forth with the community, but there's no communication between community and company. So we get to cop it, your staff gets to cop it, but the community doesn't get informed at all. And the community not being heard and not knowing that they are being heard hurts the brand and the company. In the space of 30 minutes, I posted a tweet on Twitter asking for people's critical feedback about this update, removing emotion and just giving critical feedback. I'll link that in the description for this video as well if you want to read through all of the responses. Within 30 minutes, there are 70 plus responses, detailed responses on how and why this could have been done better and how and why this is not good for the community. I encourage you viewers as well to leave feedback below on this video too, so that Niantic can read this. I will be giving this video directly to Niantic as well. I'll be compiling all of the feedback, the comments, the questions, things like that as feedback as well, because I am in a position where I can provide feedback to the company. And I encourage you to leave feedback here in the same way. I would encourage you to please remove emotion from your comments. Generally, constructive feedback is best when you remove some emotion from it. You emphasize how and why the things are good, bad, agreeable, disagreeable, why you think those things are good or bad, and then what you would have done differently or how this could be resolved in another way, providing a solution to the problem that you perceive. If you're willing and if you have the time, I would appreciate it if you do leave feedback in the comments down below. Again, remove emotions, reasons for or against, why they are for or against, and a solution. The solution could be as simple as, hey, don't change it quite yet. Why are you rolling out? Like little things like that. But it's all important, and every single piece of feedback is important. I hope that you guys, you lovelies, can appreciate my perspective on this as well. I appreciate your perspective, your thoughts, your feelings, your feedback. It's all valid. Every single person's experience is going to be different on this feedback. I think this has been building for quite a while in terms of the general community sentiment of not being heard, not having trust for the brand, and not being able to reasonably rely and put confidence in positive change. If there's been an attitude, or if there's been consistent failures to change course, consistent failures to improve and to listen and to take on feedback over a extended period of time, not taking on feedback and making a few changes, not taking on feedback and making changes occasionally, consistent and persistent improvement. If that doesn't exist, the trust doesn't exist. Every single time that trust is broken, it's going to go further down. It's going to build back up again, but when it drops, it's going to go even below that point before. I think the next few months are going to be critical for this game as a whole, which I think is a shame. I think this community has been the best experience of my life. This making videos for Pokemon Go has been some of the most fun, the most rewarding. I've made so many friends through this, and it is incredibly disappointing to see that all squashed. Or not all squashed, I shouldn't say that. To see the future of that potentially being damaged by executive BS. Listen to the people, listen to the community, listen to your staff. You have them there for a reason. I don't think you're hiring people, just picking them out of a hat. They are professionals, they are beyond competent and informed, and they are the closest to the base, which is us as well. They know what people want and don't want, and they can view what the company needs as well in a balance. So yeah, again, if you'd like to leave some feedback in the comments, please feel free to do so. It is encouraged. I would say that I apologize for the rant, but I don't. I don't apologize for sharing feelings, for talking, for being clear and transparent with you guys. I don't think there is anything to apologize for. I just don't like being, air quotes, negative. It's not my favorite thing to do. It doesn't make me happy. So I apologize if this has put you in a negative mood. But I think these conversations are important, and I think it's clear that you guys know where I stand on these things as well. With that all being said, I do appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you for those of you who listened all the way through as well. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. And I hope that positive change can be something that happens and that grows from this, and this conversation is one that let's affect change. Let's make something happen. Because we love the hell out of this game, and we love the hell out of this community, and I don't want to see it squashed because of some PR nightmare sort of thing. So yeah, I love you guys, I appreciate you guys, and thank you for listening. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful morning, noon, night, whatever time it is for you. I'll catch you guys in the next one.